Here is a reading notebook idea where I have all of these different activities ready to go for my students. I'm going to go ahead and open this notebook up in Kami. And once I have this opened up in Kami, I also want to take the reading passages that my students are going to need to read. So we're currently reading maybe this novel. So I have my reading notebook added into Kami, and I'm going to click on the toolbox and take this over to split and merge. Because I don't want my students to have two different pages, the reading notebook and that PDF of what we're about to read. I want everything to be in the same spot, super easy for my students to find. So I'm going to go search my Google Drive, and I'm going to find that article or the passage or the novel that I want my students to have in their notebook. Once I have that notebook added right in, I'm going to hit that next button. They don't need this page or this page or this page or this page. And it looks like the chapter maybe begins on page number 6. And so what I can do is I'm able to come in here and I can add in where I want this to go. So maybe I want these 2 pages right here before my students work on this activity. For this one, I want them to read these 2 pages, maybe even 3. And then they're going to have another pause point. Right here, they're going to read this one and this one, and then I'm going to go ahead and delete that activity. And I can keep adding in pages. I can also duplicate those pages as needed. So again, I first went to my reading notebook, I went to the toolbar and clicked on split and merge. Once you added these resources into split and merge, I also added another resource, the actual novel, by going into my Google Drive where it's saved. It could also be saved on your computer. And I click that next button. Once I click next, I'm able to delete these pages. And then again, I can drag these where I want them to go in the activities. What I love about this is my students can complete an activity, take a pause point, annotate the actual article, and then they can complete the next activity. Everything is very in line with what my students need to do. Once I have all of the pages where I want them to go, you could also break this down into different chapters. So maybe I want first just to send out chapters 1 and 2, and then I want to send out 3 and 4 much later. You could also do that. Now I'm going to go ahead and export this and open it right into Kami. Once my new reading notebook opens up in Kami, I can add additional resources. So maybe the book was in audio form. I could insert and add the YouTube video from that. I could also write my own video or audio clip. All right, class, today I want you to read pages 1 and 2 and then pause. And then I can add another audio clip right here going over the directions for this personal reflection. My students have tools like the markup tool where they can highlight and annotate important key details. They can also use the comment tool and add in text comments off to the side, and they're able to write their thinking out. Then they'll go down and they get to that next activity where again, they might use that drawing tool to explain and illustrate their thinking. Students might also have different vocabulary words where I only want them to pick from certain topics. In split and merge, I can duplicate any of these activities so that way they reappear and I can rinse and repeat these different activities that I want my students to do. After they read maybe a chapter or 2, then they complete a similar activity. So again, my students are going to have a lot of these tools to support their learning. And what's great too is there's now Translate in Kami. So my students can hover over any words that they don't know, and we can have it translate to another speech, so another language. They click on that chop down and it will translate for them. They can listen to it out loud. They can also copy it over here on the side panel or copy it onto their page. Lots of accessibility and resources for annotation for our students as they read different readings on a certain chapter or book that they're learning more about.